We're back and laying down the law. I'm your host, Steve Foster, alongside the former All-Pro NFL quarterback. That's right, Jeff Blake. What's up, son? It's third person.
Third person.
Sunday.
Jeff Blake likes third person Sunday. Jeff
You're the
Blake
creator.
is going to win fantasy football against Steve Foster today. I'm going to call it. I'm going to put it out there in the universe. And when you say it and believe it, it will happen.
I'm going to believe that I'm going to put up a valiant fight, and I'm going to nip him again.
Destiny.
I'm going to put him out of his fantasy football. I don't like the fact that he won't be with us next season on the Laying Down the Law Fantasy Football League, but I'm going to nip him again.
If you beat me by if you win outright handily, it's okay. But if at the end of the day it says I won and I wake up tomorrow morning and you beat me by 0.1, I'm done.
Yeah. I'm not going to have to go to that this time. But what we are going to do.
I wasn't going to monitor this game, but I am now. Rod Chico Tanner's going to be watching the scores on that one.
Well, I know somebody else is going to be watching the scores up in Cleveland as the Houston Texans head that way. And so one of my favorite guests to have, former NFL head coach of the Cleveland Browns and longtime coach, helped a lot of folks in their lives, is the great Sam Rutigliano. Coach, welcome back to Laying Down.
Well, hi, Steve. How you doing?
We are doing well, and I'm sure you know this gentleman, Jeff Blake, former NFL quarterback as well.
Hey, Coach.
Hi, how you doing? I think we've run across each other once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Coach, did you coach against Jeff when he was in Cincinnati or anything like that in the 90s, or no?
No, I coached for 18 years. With five different teams, and one as the head coach from 78 to 84. So I was just a little bit behind you.
Well, we know today coming your way is the Houston Texans, and this is a Cleveland Browns team that many now say, Coach, will be playoff bound.
Well, you know, they're 6-3 after 19 years. In the last 16 years, we've had 3 coaches for 2 years, 2 coaches for 4 years, and 1 coach for 8 months. And Pittsburgh's had 3 coaches for 49 years. Consistency confirms authenticity. And this guy, the coach, Mike Patton, you know, has done a great job. We're 6-3 right now, and we got 7 games to go. And, you know, when I was a coach, I would never say, I always would say it's the next game. That's the only thing I'm concerned with. But now it's 7 games in front, and this team, the Texans, are really interesting. It was kind of trying to catch up with head coach O'Brien. Made a statement that brains is the best trait for a quarterback in my offense. Well, you know, I would say that going to Harvard and getting Ryan Fitzpatrick was a great move, but he's not starting today, and now they're coming in here with Mallett and Foster, who's second to Dallas's running back, is not going to play. And the thing that, you know, and I'm sure that a quarterback would totally understand this, Brian Hoyer has, you know, when you can run the ball, you know, the defense is drinking Gatorade on the sideline, and you're getting second and short and mediums and third and short and mediums, and it opens the door from a play-action pass because now you isolate the underneath coverage of the linebackers, and there's a void in the secondary for big plays. So I would say, you know, with a guy like Andre Johnson, who's really in the Jerry Rice category, now having a new quarterback at this stage of the game will be very interesting. And I know Romeo Crennel very well. He was here as head coach, and I think he's a fine coach and did a great job as a D coordinator with New England. And the other thing is that, you know, Clowney. How could you not have the number 1 pick in the draft playing for you? So, you know, it's going to be an interesting game because of you guys not being at full strength.
Well, I think, Coach, they said that Clowney actually is active today, and
great.
he may actually get a chance to do some things. I defer. This is crazy, Coach. We have a fantasy football league on the show, and Jeff Blake and I are pitted against each other today. So there's not a lot of love from the two hosts here as we go back and forth. However, I make a guy like me as a running back makes his day, and as you mentioned, Brian Hoyer's day a lot easier when you can have a ground game to balance your offense.
Well, and the defense as well.
Well, Jeff Blake, to me, kind of when I talk to someone like you, it's like going to the gas chamber, and the attendant says, "Don't worry, it'll be over in 5 seconds," and the guy says, "How do you know?" And so, Brian Hoyer was a free agent. Brian Sipe was a 13th round draft choice. Brady was a 199th pick. Montana was a third. Young was a second. Drew Brees was a second. Dan Fouts was a second. Dan Marino was picked when they were 30. When they were picking, he was picked 32nd a year where they picked 6 quarterbacks. So nobody's got the answer at that position from the beginning of time. Johnny Unitas graduated from Louisville. He was playing in the Continental League. So it's that. It's two things, Jeff, and I think you would agree. Is that it's indefinable. Number one, a quarterback's like a tea bag. You don't know what you got till you put him in hot water.
I like that one.
And the great quarterbacks are in the pocket. There are Johnny Manziel. There are no old running quarterbacks in the NFL, but the great ones who sit in the pocket of that 5.5 to 6 yards, they see the defense in slow motion.
Yeah, you're right.
Brandon Whedon saw it like Times Square on New Year's Eve.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what this kid. Hoyer has done. He's got 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he has Cameron, the tight end of last year, and Josh Gordon, the wide receiver of last year, is coming back next week. Those two guys had over 87 catches. One had over 1,600 yards. One had almost 1,000 yards. I mean, and he's been going with guys that we picked off the street. Well, Miles Austin, I think, is a nice player, but, a lot of his time was spent in Dallas, and he's done a good job for us, but nowhere near the kind of people that you have to have around you, as a quarterback.
We're talking with Sam Rutigliano, former head coach of the Cleveland Browns. So, Coach, who wins today and why?
Well, I think that based upon I think the single most important thing right now, as you change the quarterbacks, I don't like to do that in the middle of but Brian knows what he's doing. When you change that, you got a guy like Foster. He runs for you 130, 140 yards. You got a real great chance of getting it done because, the last time we played Cincinnati on Thursday night, the 3 running backs, and now this kid West, who was a mid-round draft choice, is going to be the starter in place of Tate, who was with you guys for a few years. They ran for 171 yards. And if you run for 140, 150, 170 yards, a guy like, Foster's second to the running back at Dallas, I just don't see how they're going to recover, and I think the Browns will win this game for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's tough to play there. I know the stadium you played in is not, the old municipal stadium is not there anymore.
But I tell you what, it's cold and it's snowy, and everybody, you two guys know that. Hey, look, you never saw a jockey carry a horse across the finish line. You got to have players,
right?
And you can't. And the one thing you can't do at midway, especially in the NFL, is change quarterbacks. It's tough.
Yes,
really tough because. Chemistry is more important than talent.
That's a great
And I'm
point.
sure Jeff Blake totally understands that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he definitely gets it. I think you pull out some tremendous points. Coach, before I let you go, I got to let you know that our team over the summer at Jason Garrett's football camp scored the most points out of the 12 teams and also won the Super Bowl.
Well, I've won the Super Bowl there 3 times, so I'm way ahead of you. Because what I do is I find out all those kids that have come from New Jersey, Philadelphia, and New York,
yes, sir,
and I recruit them before I get there.
Yes.
Anyway, right now, Jason Garrett, his dad and I went to Columbia together. Then we were at New Orleans together, and the whole gang of Garretts came with my gang. My kids grew up with them, and now I talk to Jim every once in a while, and Janie, his wife, Jason's. But now Jason Garrett's like my son. I pray every week for him.
Yes.
I think I just hope that Tony's going to be okay, because the big thing that's going to happen right now is when they play Philadelphia.
Absolutely,
right, exactly.
And I'm looking for them to to get the thing done, and especially for Jason, who is on his last year of his contract, and he's a really smart and he's a great young man.
Well, Coach, thank you so much.
Hey, I'll see you in June.
Absolutely. Maybe before I may sneak up there and say hello. Maybe get a playoff game in Cleveland. I've not done that. So,
and Jeff Blake, nice talking to you.
You too, Coach. Appreciate it.
God bless.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Take care. All right. We're going to take one more sidebar, and then Jeff and I are going to probably run some smack. We'll even take your phone calls at 210-656-ESPN, 210-656-3776, right here on Laying Down the Law.